very good evening and welcome to this Saturday's final edition of YES101's Visual Radio. I'm Karuni Karuna Ratna. Let's start off with a look at this evening's top stories.
News First headline.
Making headlines in local news, only those with a vision for the future have the right to lead, says Ranil Wickramasinghe. No expectation of judicial manipulation under AKD leadership. Sajid promises a golden age of corruption elimination. Namal promises digital overhaul for faster public services. In news overseas, more than 100 protests held across France against new Prime Minister. And in sports, Newey commits to £30 million Aston Martin deal. On to your top story this evening, independent presidential candidate Ranil Wickramasinghe said that those without a vision for the country's future have no right to take responsibility for it. The Bank and Financial Forum, organized by the National Bankers Association, took place in Colombo yesterday. Independent presidential candidate Ranil Wickramasinghe emphasized the need to shift Sri Lanka towards an export-oriented economy. He highlighted that discussions are focused on introducing the Economic Transformation Act, which aims to expand the economy beyond Sri Lankan borders. Wickramasinghe stressed the importance of collaborating with the IMF, especially concerning the Debt Sustainability Analysis or DSA and adhering to its framework. He acknowledged that after 2 decades of struggle, the country's political landscape is changing and a new political system is needed. This transformation is expected to take 5 to 10 years. Wickramasinghe mentioned a commission's report with about 70 recommendations on electoral reform, which has yet to be addressed by any political party. He also referred to Blueprint 3.0 economic proposal, noting issues with its implementation and the lack of clarity on who will advance it. Wickramasinghe went on to note that those who do not engage in discussions about the country's future should not be entrusted with its leadership. Meanwhile, independent presidential candidate Ranil Wickramasinghe attended a meeting today with civil society activists representing the Muslim community. The meeting was titled the Civil Society Roundtable.
You once carried the tag of Mr. Clean. Public perception has changed dramatically to one of untrustworthy. Now, whether you will agree with me or not, I don't know. Starting from the bond scam, a series of shady deals under your watch seem to have caused this change. Why have you allowed this to happen?
What can I do about the bond scam? Give me an answer to it. What can I do about the bond scam?
I said a series of things thereafter as well has allowed this.
But everyone was prosecuted and they have been acquitted both at the High Court level and Appeal Court level. If the court has acquitted the person, there can't be a scam.
That's not the issue. The issue is
your
perception has changed.
No. Wait, that is your perception. Let you put an accusation against me, and when you get cornered, you put it on others. It's not. It's your scam. So I said bond scam. You said there's a bond scam. I said what bond scam? Because not me. We prosecuted. The courts have acquitted them. I went before a commission, and the commission said I had nothing to do with it even. But you say I am corrupt.
I'm not saying
no. You have to say when you said bond scam. When you say bond scam, no, I had nothing to do with the bond scam. I went and I was cleared. I need not have gone. When they asked me, I said I'll go there, and I went and answered every question. I have been cleared. So let's follow the normal principles and give me that. Secondly, the commission wanted the people prosecuted. We said prosecute. But the court said no evidence.
No, I mentioned the public perception has changed.
Don't worry about public.
That's what I mentioned. No. My question was that. I don't want to.
Sorry, I am telling you this. Yeah. Public perception is your and me to judge. You have any claim, you put that in. Then shall I tell you something else? After I became a president, a minister in the government was charged. What did I do? Did I protect him? He resigned. He went off and he said, I am facing the charges. It will be established I am innocent. I said, very good. Tell me one other government that has allowed the minister to be prosecuted. After Mr. SWRD Bandaranaike, no one has done that. After I became president, I brought the Anti-Corruption Act. And having that, I called the IMF. Now, IMF has given a whole series of laws. Proceeds of crime has come as a bill. There are about another 20 measures. No government has taken it. In fact, the JVP anti-corruption runs only on the Anti-Corruption Bill Act. My one says the whole agenda. So I'm sorry, but I don't think I would agree with that.
Meanwhile, presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anura Kumara Dissanayake, said that he has no expectation for the judicial system to be manipulated for personal gains. He emphasizes that under his administration, the rule of law will be affirmed. A lawyers' forum was held under the leadership of presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anura Kumara Dissanayake. The forum was attended by a large group including Rohini Marasinghe, a retired Supreme Court judge, and also legal experts from the National People's Power. The National People's Power's legal policies were also presented at the forum. Anura Kumara Dissanayake addressed the legal community, emphasizing the need for equal rights before the law for all citizens. He acknowledged concerns that current practices may not fully uphold this principle and pledged that his government would ensure the rule of law remains impartial, free from influence by wealth, power or poverty. Dissanayake criticized the current state of corruption and bribery, which he argued have become normalized rather than treated as crimes. He stressed that without addressing these issues, it is impossible to build a strong nation. He also highlighted the problematic political culture where ministerial positions are often awarded based on financial considerations, contributing to the country's socio-economic decline. He also called for unified effort to restore the rule of law and rebuild the nation, underscoring that the political culture must change to prevent further disintegration of the country's social and economic fabric. Meanwhile, presidential candidate of the Samagi Jana Balawegya, Sajith Premadasa, asserts that he is creating a golden age of eliminating corruption in Sri Lanka. He expressed these views at a public rally in Homagama yesterday. Another rally of the Samagi Jana Balawegya, organised as part of their presidential election campaign in support of Sajith Premadasa, was held yesterday in Homagama. SJB presidential candidate Sajith Premadasa emphasised that corruption, deceit and theft need to be completely eradicated. He called for holding accountable those who had harmed the country, insisting that they be brought before the courts and face legal consequences. Premadasa pledged to utilise all resources, funds and assets lost by the country for the benefit of the people. He committed to ensuring transparency in all state transactions, asserting that every transaction should be conducted digitally and accessible to the public. He underscored that citizens had the right to know how their tax money was spent, whether in health or education. Premadasa promised that all dealings would be conducted through competitive tenders and contracts would not be awarded based on personal connections or benefits to specific institutions. He envisioned creating a new era of eliminating corruption in the 21st century. Now, the presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna Namal Rajapaksa said that his vision to transform the country's state services into a digital system and making public services rapidly and easily accessible. A public rally was organised today in Alutgama in support of Namal Rajapaksa's presidential candidacy. Namal Rajapaksa, the presidential candidate from the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, highlighted the importance of digitising public services. He envisioned a system where passports, driving licences and national identity cards could be issued from home. If an office visit was necessary, he suggested that those issues could be resolved at local divisional secretariats. Rajapaksa committed to providing the necessary regulations and introducing new laws if required to support this transformation. He emphasized that modernizing the country's state administration and services through digitization was crucial for delivering rapid and convenient public services. As a representative of the new generation of political leaders, he pledged to ensure that state services would be effectively digitized. On to some of the latest updates from the election front. The Department of Government Printing said that 50% of the official ballot papers for the presidential election have been completed. A senior official said that these printed ballot papers have already been handed over to the Election Commission. The department aims to finish the remaining printing within the next week to ensure everything is ready for the election. Meanwhile, the Department of Post says that 80% of the postal ballot papers have been handed back to them. Senior Deputy Postmaster General Rajitha K. Ranasinghe said that ballot papers with votes already cast have been safely packeted and will be sent to returning officers. Postal voters who are unable to cast their votes so far have been given the opportunity to cast their votes on the 11th and 12th of September at the election offices in the district where their workplace is located. 712,319 state sector employees were deemed eligible to cast postal votes this year. Meanwhile, the Department of Post says that about 30% of the official polling card copies have been distributed so far. Senior Deputy Postmaster General Rajitha Ranasinghe said that tomorrow will be a special day in which polling card copies will be distributed. Accordingly, official polling card copies will be distributed tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Senior Deputy Postmaster General Rajitha Ranasinghe said that official polling card copies will be distributed door to door until the 14th of September. Let's now take a look at international news.
International news.
Protests are taking place across France over the nomination of right-wing Michel Barnier as Prime Minister after an inconclusive election in which the left won the largest number of seats. The demonstrations were called by trade unions and left-wing political parties whose own candidate for Prime Minister was rejected by President Emmanuel Macron. Around 130 protests were being held, with the biggest setting out from central Paris this afternoon. Other cities staging protests include Marseille and Lyon. Coming up next is sports news.
Sports news.
Leading Formula One designer Adrian Newey will join Aston Martin next year. Newey has made a long-term commitment to the team, said to be a 5-year contract worth up to a possible £30 million a year, including bonuses and add-ons. The deal will be announced at a news conference organised by Aston Martin at their Formula One base at Silverstone on Tuesday. Newey, who in April negotiated an early exit from his contract as Red Bull Chief Technical Officer, will start work in early March. And that brings to a close this Saturday's final edition of YES101's Visual Radio. I'm Theruni Karunaratne. Thank you for watching.